You're watching Mugen TV RPG Haven. Experience a fantasy like no other.
Hey guys, it's MugenLord here, and before we begin, I just want to say I thank you guys for checking out my stream over the weekend. I played King of Fighters 15, really enjoyed myself, trying to get a chance to learn the games. This is really my first time diving into a King of Fighters game, and I appreciate you guys coming through, chatting it up. We had a good time. We even played a few lobby matches, and I also completed my first Trials of mission with Chris, so I really had fun with that. Feel proud of myself. I know. But anyway, if you haven't checked it out, you can go to my Twitch TV channel on Twitch and check out the stream archive. So let's dive into today's video. Today, I want to talk about Square Enix and live service games. Live service games, I personally hate, period. I just don't like the whole formula and the whole business practice behind them, because a lot of things when it comes to games as a service, it's always a hit or miss, and I think it's really damaging gaming in general, modern gaming, and it's really put me off from modern gaming because of the method behind it and just how it's just dumbed games down, and it really destroys the quality of games. And Square Enix, we need to have a talk. Is because if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Square Enix just released the most horrible game. I mean, it's for today's modern gaming, today's modern Square Enix, this is by far the worst game they have ever released. And what's more surprisingly is that Platinum Games has also worked on it, and this is one of the worst Platinum game titles that was ever released on the market, and that game is Babylon Falls. Yes, Babylon Falls is downright garbage, trash. Have I played the game? No, I haven't played the game. I didn't need to play the game to know that this game was going to be garbage. The moment the game was actually revealed during, I think, State of Play, or was it E3, I seen the game, I was like, I don't know, I'm getting this Godfall type of feel, because they had the same, almost like the same art style in a way, and I already predicted that Godfall was going to be garbage, and everybody was hyping that game up. And especially once they announced that it was a games as a service or a live service, I was like, yeah, this game is going to fail. This game is going to be trash. And that's what ended up happening to Godfall. So when I seen Babylon Fall, I was like, I don't know about this either. And the thing is, at the time, I didn't even know Platinum Games was even working on it. Now, that's what really hurts me the most, is because I gave Platinum Games such high praise. And especially in my last video when I talked about Grand Blue Fantasy, how I'm hyped and I'm waiting for that game. And they made games like Bayonetta, Nier Automata, and a few other games that I really enjoyed from them, because they're known for their action. Their action elements that they input in these games is just phenomenal, and I love them guys. And for them to drop something this horrible, I mean, it's downright disgusting. And live services is pretty much the I guess you could say, the villain behind all of this, because Square Enix so far has bombed with live service games. They failed with Avengers, and the thing is, I even said, if you've checked out my Avengers video, you can go check it out right now. I said it myself in the video that the game was going to be mediocre at best, or downright trash. And in my opinion, the game was garbage. And the thing was, my brother and them have Avengers, and they play it, and they have to get their money's worth out of it, but they're also disappointed in the game. And it seemed like Square Enix doesn't have a grip on live service games at all. And then they also wanted to try Babylon's Fall, and this by far is the worst. Look at the Metacritic, look at all the game reviews when it comes to this game, and you can check out some of the YouTubers who've been talking about this game. Everybody's been talking about how horrible this game is, and what makes it even worse is that this game, like I said before, is supposed to be a live service, so they plan on trying to support the game for years to come. And so far, if you look at the Steam charts, it's not really looking that great as well, especially for a game that's just launched. And I believe that this game is going to die before it even starts, before it even begins to have anything. And because of what I read and what a lot of people who play the game have said, is that they're charging you a full price game and it's pretending to be a freemium game, a free game. So that means it has a lot of microtransactions. It requires a lot of grinding and everything. And that's what I hate about live service games. Live service game has been the bane of the gaming industry. It's because now developers have found a way to be able to put a half-baked, half-cooked game into the game industry, put it out there for consumers to be alpha and beta testers, support the game for years to come, for the game to eventually become somewhat a good, decent game. That means these games are, one, which I hate, intentionally grindy, which means they want you to spend money on cosmetics or whatever transactions they have in the game. And what makes it worse is when they do these live service games and then they make it pay to win. In order for you to make any form of progress through the game or to keep up with the rest of the player base, you have to spend real money in order to be able to keep up with everybody, as far when it comes to weapons, when it comes to armor, when it comes to different characters, maybe different items that can help boost your character and everything. And that's the worst. And I think the even worse example of live service besides Babylon Fall was also Fallout 76. They did the same thing. They took that same approach, and with the creator or the head of Bethesda said, or I guess you could say Fallout, he said this, that the goal is to, you know, put the game out and eventually over time the game gets better. And that is the wrong approach that they have taken with this. And I'm really starting to hate the live service games because now it's seeping over to even single player experience games, which I don't like as well. Like I talked about in my Tales of Arise video or / review video, where I really enjoyed the game, but at times the game really goes at a snail pace when the game start to feel super like artificially grindy. And they also, the economy in the game, prices, simple items were like skyrocketed. They were so high as far as prices are concerned, and I didn't realize until a friend of mine or a person within my chat when I was streaming the game has said that, you know, they have a DLC shop, and once I went to the DLC shop, they had, you can be able to not only buy cosmetics, you were able to also buy, you know, currency, and you was able to buy skill points, you was able to buy experience points in order to level your characters up. So that means when it came to Tales of Arise, you know, they artificially made it grindy so it can encourage players, especially players who are new to the Tales series, to go in and spend money to speed up their leveling. And I don't like that, because they pretty much took that type of like mind frame from these live service games. It's really, these live service games really need to stop. And Square Enix, you tried it and you failed at it, and you definitely need to stop this. It doesn't work. You tried Avengers is not doing good, and you guys still won't admit that it's not doing good. Y'all should just cut the cord on that game. And then now you have Babylon Fall, which I'm really surprised that Platinum Games even put something out as horrible as this. And looking at Babylon's Fall, the gameplay and what people have been saying about the game, looking at Babylon Fall and how it plays, it looks like the game is not even finished. It looked like the game still needed some time to be cooked and developed a bit farther, because the frame rate looks garbage, the visuals look garbage, even the animation when it comes to the combat looks horrible. And this is some of the most trashiest, most horrible work from Platinum Games. And I'm really getting nervous, because from what Platinum Games has said recently is that they really want to try to dive and get into the live service, you know, type of way of creating games. And if this is their first game going out, this should be a wake-up call to them and say, you know what, just stick to what they do best. Let's just stick to what we do. We make good action games, good action RPGs. Let's just stick to that. Leave these live service games alone. And I understand that it's very tempting for developers to go into these live service because of how some developers have become successful off of live service games. Like examples like Destiny. The Destiny franchise has done really, really good and still doing good. People are spending a lot of time, a lot of money into it. And then you look at games like also Genshin Impact. Genshin Impact is another live service that everyone is enjoying. Everyone's giving high praise. Everyone's constantly playing the game. So these type of games does, when done right, brings in a whole lot of money to the developers into these companies, and I understand that it's very tempting, but in most cases you have more misfires than you actually have success when it comes to these live service games. Come on, let's look at Street Fighter 5. Like, we just stopped and talking about Street Fighter 6 recently. Street Fighter 5 is a perfect example. They wanted to make Street Fighter into a live service game. Look what Capcom has done. Capcom has essentially just made and released a half-finished game. Out the gate, Street Fighter 5 was so bare bones. It didn't even have an arcade mode. You know, the roster was lackluster. There was pretty much nothing to really do when it came to this game, and it started out really horrible, and it took all these years and all these DLCs and seasons for Street Fighter 5 to eventually become a game that everybody enjoys playing. And it shouldn't have to be this way. We shouldn't have to be beta testers, alpha testers for these games. Put out a full-blown project, a full-blown complete game with a full-blown experience, and people will give you their money if the product is really, really good. And I don't understand this mentality that these developers want to go with when it comes to these live service games. I really don't. And Babylon Fall should be a wake-up call to Square Enix that they should just stick to doing what they do best. Just stick to just making RPGs that you're good at, because you guys who've been just trying to chase after this carrot or live game services, and it's just not working for you guys. So hopefully this is a lesson learned, that you guys can just say, you know what, let's just stick to Final Fantasy 14, the Final Fantasy games, and let's just start reviving some of our, you know, favorite, you know, RPG classics, which they're trying to do with the HD 2D, which I did a video on that as well. But you guys definitely need to go back to the drawing board, really rethink your strategy, and also your team management, or how you manage your companies, from like Crystal Dynamics and other studios that you have under your wing. You're really putting the wrong developers on the wrong projects, and it's really showing, especially with the Avengers, and especially with Babylon Fall. Like, it's just not working for you guys. So that pretty much wraps up this video. I'm just really disgusted about this whole live service games. It's really ruining the gaming experience for me. Really don't like them, and it's starting to seep into single player experiences, where single player experiences shouldn't even have microtransactions and everything of a sort, and artificially just making the game grindy or making it difficult for no reason just to get you to spend real money. Like, that's just horrible, man. And it's going to show more and more that these games are no longer about passion. And I believe the developers don't go in mind saying that, hey, we want to try to see how much money we can soak up. It's the fact is that it's the CEOs, it's the board members. They have to appease their board members and their investors in order to get a better return. And at the end of the day, these game companies are corporations, and the outcome is their sole purpose is to profit and to make money. And it's sad, because back then, when gaming was still, you know, a newborn, you had more, you know, developers creating games that they wanted to create, you know. But now, since it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, everything is corporate, and it's really starting to show. And that's why I really turned away from gaming for a while. I haven't really been playing many games, and I've just been getting back to it because of my Xenoblade Chronicles 2 video that I did, which you can definitely need to check that out as well. But that wraps up the video. If you guys enjoyed the video, definitely hit that like button, hit the subscribe. And I'm gonna say this again, like, if you check out, I noticed that a lot of you guys who are really enjoying my content and has really been boosting my channel up are my non-subscribers. A lot of you guys are revisiting my channel to check out what content I have, but haven't subscribed yet. Subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. Also, those who are subscribed to the channel and haven't been checking out my channel because of maybe the notifications you're not getting it or anything like that, definitely, guys, check out the content. But anyway, if you want to stay informed with more gaming news, with RPGs, fighting games, or anything of that sort, hit that bell to be notified. This is MugenLord signing off. I'll see you game fiends later. Peace out. It looks like you reached the end of the video. Well, while you're at it, check out some of my other discussion videos by clicking on the annotations below, and don't forget to follow me on other social media platforms to stay up to date with future content. Signing off.